So without further ado, it's Olivia Munn. I really did. I was like, do I honor her?
My mind is now. That blew my mind hearing you say that.
I mean, I really did feel that way. Like you were with your husband and the great comedian John Mulaney. It doesn't get better. And I love him so much too, but I'm like not a schmoozer. I don't cross rooms to like hobnob. And so when I saw you guys, I felt really shy, but I just thought I'm going to go in and I'm going to tell you all I wanted to tell you, which was thank you for what you've been doing in your life, with your life.
That is such a crazy thing to hear. Because you have no idea how many friends I texted after that to be like, I cannot believe Drew Barry knows who I am. It was just like, can you imagine?
Oh, I've known who you are for so many years. You always struck me too, because like when you started out on the scene, like I remember thinking like, wow, now there's a girl who's so cool and all the guys love her. Like they want to be your best friend, they want to date you. Like you came up in the world in a way that always interested me because I have such a kind of 13-year-old boy sense of humor, and I grew up mostly with boys.
Yeah, I have two brothers, and so that's, and in the beginning, like that dynamic that you're talking about really came about because I just took advantage of the opportunities that were given to me, but it wasn't always what I felt like I wanted to do. Like you just like, this is presented, it was like my first time like getting like a big like acting job, and it was like a host actually was what was my big break, and it was just like this thing inside me that was like, okay, I'm just gonna keep like doing this because I get to be in Hollywood, I'm doing it, but when you I've looked at so many different scripts, and a lot of times the women are portrayed in like kind of a naggy way sometimes, or like I had this thing that I decided at one point early in my career, like I only wanted to do projects where she would exist even if he didn't exist. That it wasn't just his story, and I was like, I'd rather just play like a cashier in one moment in one scene where she's really interesting and you can tell that she goes home and has a whole other life than to be the lead with just his story.
I always felt that way too, and I thought it was such a disservice to women to be that like sidekick, non-eventful girl that usually is a little like unnerving and grating. And I was like, no, I don't want to do that to us women. That's not what we're like. And by the way, if they are, run. But that's not the majority of our experience.
It isn't. And also, I also went in, I think that idea of like hating men and portraying that energy as well it just creates the divide. I just think it's important to like lead with positivity.
Yes.
But that doesn't mean that I haven't had those experiences. I mean, there have been a few times where I've been filming something and my character, like we're either like CIA or a cop or something, and there's been scenes where my character has been the one to save the other character. And I remember I was in this bunker once, and if you read the script, it was that he was guarding his side, I was guarding my side, then we switched sides, and then there's a guy that was coming for him, was gonna shoot him in the back, so I shoot him. And then we're about to shoot, and somehow, I guess he didn't read the script, and in that moment he realized, wait, hold on, she can't save me. No, she can't save me. And then everything stops down, and there was no insecurity about being obnoxious. And everyone hearing this would be like, she can't save me, we're not doing this. And then the director, he was combative with the director. And finally I was like, after like 45 minutes of just stopping down, I said, okay, how about instead of my character saving you, it just is that we switch because it's time for us to switch. And so this is my guy to get. And he was like, okay. Now here's the interesting thing. Nothing changed.
Yeah.
It's just what he thought.
Yeah.
I was doing the exact same thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But that's what I mean. You always, that's the epitome of what I was trying to say earlier. You always came off to me like a woman who could handle themselves around men.
I can say what I mean and I stand up for what I think is right, but that doesn't mean that like for the longest time, I have been very, I had armored up. You know, I was very strong. I had a really hard childhood. And so I grew up being really strong. Like that was my thing. I was gonna fight back. And I just felt, wow, look how powerful I am when I use my voice and when I scream. And so what happened was I carried that through my life. And so I felt like, you know, if something is wrong, if there's an injustice, I will just decimate you. But I didn't realize how damaging that was to me and to different relationships and how I was presenting myself. I wasn't presenting myself like a warrior. I was presenting myself like somebody you're like, okay, she's kind of unstable, or she's so extreme. And it wasn't till I was diagnosed with breast cancer that I had gone through this period of time realizing that I had dropped my armor. Because when I was diagnosed in that doctor's office and she's going through everything and she's like, this is really aggressive and it's multifocal, multi-quadrant, bilateral, which means it's like all over both breasts. And we've tested it, it's aggressive, fast moving, you gotta do this right now. Here's double mastectomy. Like hysterectomy, oophorectomy means like I took out my ovaries, my fallopian tubes, my uterus, my breast. And it was just like, it was so daunting that I knew instinctively without actually knowing that I had to drop my armor. But it was because of that that I had realized, oh my gosh, without that armor, I'm actually stronger. I'm stronger, that I'm more vulnerable. And now where I'm at now, and like, I'm so happy that I'm in my mid-40s and there's still a lot of life ahead of me, that I can kind of now go forward with that knowledge.
And I must say, thank God you did have that warrior outspokenness, because if you hadn't, you might have gone through all of this without sharing it with other people. And that would be very different.
Well, thank you so much for saying that.
But I so understand what you are saying. In fact, I'd love a little advice, if you don't mind.
Oh my gosh, I would love to talk about anything.
Well, trust.
Okay, what's the question?
Like, how do you trust again?